proletariat, for the proletariat, for the proletariat, for the proletariat, for the proletariat.
With just chancleta on it.
Yeah.
Just loosely tied together, and you just go, yo, I'm a size whatever, and you just looking through. They're just in a pile.
Yeah.
Slippers. And you just go.
You just got to figure out which one match which.
And then you literally, you grab them, and old lady come out. Oh, that's $10. You just give her $10, and that's it. No receipt. You just out.
When I was in Korea, they used to come on a train with like carts where I can't even call them chancla. Like I got sandals. They would have all kind of cool shit. They would have like rubber chickens and shit. I'd be like, yo, where did you get the rubber chickens from? But like the thing about urban settings is like that's kind of common for folks to just hit your public transit and just hawking shit. Just like, hey, here, I got these motherfucking rolls of quarters for anybody who, you know what I mean? Mixtape, you gonna run into a mixtape on a train. Yeah. Even in Korea, I'm pretty sure if I would have rode enough, I'd have ran into a mixtape.
I think there's a beauty in having every store look like it's a yard sale and not like a sterile corporate environment.
It feels more genuine that way.
Yeah, like you're not thinking somebody put this on here after there was a focus group and some calculation. Yeah, to put it in the specific spot to know that this is going to entice you to get the stuff you don't need. No, they just, here's what we got.
This is it.
If you need it, you got it.
Yeah, I like it. It's something about like, okay, riding the metro out here, but it depends on where you go. Like out in the DMV, you're going to run across like people, the lore here is the curry out is, I wish I could explain it. The curry out is a black thing, almost never run by black people. You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's so weird. It's because you go up in there, you can get a fried rice plate. They selling like Asian food, like Chinese food. They selling, but then you getting wings, and the wings got mambo sauce on them. Like you don't hear non-black people for real talking about mambo sauce, but the spot that you go to get the mambo wings, it's gonna be probably run by Asian people. And that's when we talk about cultural exchange, I think that's a great example of just like, you're part of us without needing to be part of us. You know what I mean? Like you're accepted, you're absorbed into the, like, you know what I mean? You're absorbed into the culture.
But in a way, it's also a little like, I don't want to say artificial, but
think of the Lees from Sinners.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I mean, though.
Yeah,
is because the Lees are there because that's where they were allowed to go.
Yeah, that's where
you got put there. So I think there's a difference between, say, a natural exchange. Like I would say, even like, we talk about Washington Heights. There's a concentrated Jewish community there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Dominican, right? And in a sense, I don't know that they were like put there. I think they like naturally are there, and there's cultural exchange. But even then, I don't think in a modern lens you can have a non-artificial exchange of culture, because people are kind of just placed where they're placed so that they're, people say, oh, cause division. But I think they're placed there because we don't want them. We put them here so that they're not over here.
Right.
And I think there's always going to be an air of something artificial to that. Like, were it not for the Lees being placed there, would they naturally have found us and exchanged those recipes? Because there's overlap. There's overlap between like black. That's why we like it. There's overlap between black and Asian cuisine, but I don't know. I sometimes wonder if that would be the thing were it not for the artificial placement.
I think maybe, like a lot of things, the push for non-white people to be concentrated in certain areas, at least we could blame that. Like at the very least. You know what I mean? Or we can point to that and say, well, that's how these people ended up here. That's how them folks ended up right there. That's how them folks wasn't allowed up here. When people do the model minority myth, they're not talking about folks, Asia, East Asian folks who have been here for generations. They're talking about the folks who were imported for their labor, or the folks who had enough resources to come over here, to move to a country that they're not connected to by land, to move across the ocean. But there's a great deal of folks who have just been here. It's just really interesting how the overlap comes into play in the first place because of us being placed, because of white supremacy, because of Eurocentrism in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of Eurocentrism, have you seen Ledrewski and Erica? We're late as fuck to the party as far as doing content about this.
But also on time.
What you mean?
Well, because yes, to answer your question, I did see it, but everybody's so reactionary. They look at it and they want to go, oh, I hate this. No, this is great. I think we're on time. I think we've seen it. We've digested, sat down, put our feet up, watched the game, and then we're like,
yeah. Yeah. My biggest thing is yes, but there are still, at this point in the game, there are still people being reactionary. There's this creator that does the anti-black people can't be racist content. Have you seen him? He's the one I refer to as the human Averex jacket.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, yo, the black, anybody could be racist, you heard? Like, and I'm just like, oh my God, like he's so corny. He doesn't know shit. Recently, he posted a picture of Logan Paul. Logan Paul was actually really upset about it, I think, because he's close friends with Erica Kirk. And so he was saying that he wants revenge, so he's going to do blackface. So people have been generating AI photos of Logan Paul in blackface as Drewski. Born to Win posted the picture as though it was something Logan Paul actually did. And yeah, he just wants to trigger. He's just super anti-black, loves white women, I think is what is going on. There's nothing wrong with loving someone from a different race. But when you are like doing it, when you're changing your entire personality to you're changing your entire identity to rationalize your fetishization of white women because you're trying to assimilate to whiteness, because you're trying to get closer to whiteness, something's wrong with that. Like that's creepy. But that's a whole different episode. Like when you're being anti-black so that you can rationalize your anti-blackness.
So there's also an element here of, how do I put this? Pays to be an asshole. Like if you're on social media, like it's profitable to be edgy, to be the edgelord. Like, so sometimes I do see people like, who's the greasy haired dude you talk to? I think we all talk to, whatever his name is. He just says shit like
what are you talking about?
The white with they just say the N word for no reason in the middle of it.
Gypsy? I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Buddy with the long hair who just says the N-word just for no reason. Yeah.
But sometimes he'll be like, why ain't women in the kitchen? And he just like, he don't even know what he's saying.
To get a reaction.
Yeah, he's just saying it to try to trigger whoever he's talking to. And then he gets mad when you're just like, when you just hop over and move to the next point. But he or he thinks this is what being social media guy is. He thinks is, oh, I'm just gonna,
Yeah, I don't even think he fully believes what he's saying. Yeah. And in that vein, like, it's kind of hard to tell who is saying, well, we should do blackface because they mean it, or who is saying we should do blackface because they just want black people to be upset. You know what I mean? Or they just want views or something like that.
Or both.
Or both. Or both. But Jeff, my theory is that whiteface isn't real. Yeah, I don't think whiteface is real. I put a little thing down here that says white face.
Oh,
white face. No, I don't know. Okay, it's real because people do it sometimes, but I don't think it's a genre of parody, or I don't think it's a genre of theater. I think it's a parody of minstrelsy itself.
I mean, sure. Look, usually when you say something, because I trust you implicitly, and it's one of those things where people go, I try to like create the angle to get to what you said, right? Yeah. And my first reaction is that we have a lot of reverence for symbols, in that they help us remember things. They help us, and we have a lot of abhorrence for symbols that help us that remind us of not good things. Case in point, walking around with a swastika, bad. Walking around with a bald eagle tattoo could be good, could be bad, depending on your engagement with the United States.
Right.
Walking around with a Christmas gift, good. So the symbolism of blackface is that it reminds you of the minstrel stuff.
Right.
And so there's something that it evokes there. And so I guess I can see whereas whiteface doesn't have that, like you're not attaching it to anything, but I can see how when you see whiteface, you think blackface. So that's the caricature. And then you think minstrel. So
no, it's a parody of minstrelsy. Let me tell you where I'm going with this, right? You have minstrelsy is born. The purpose of minstrelsy in society is to normalize and mainstream the dehumanization of black people, to regard them as haphazard, lazy, shiftless. You're teaching people to laugh at the misfortune of these people. That desensitizes you. Now we do legislation that robs you of the ability to marry or own land or participate in society in any meaningful capacity other than working for the profit of someone else. That's the purpose of minstrelsy, right? So it is white culture. I know we do this thing a lot where it's like white culture don't exist. No, that's white culture. That's white culture is dehumanizing black folks. But then you turn that on its head, and in a similar fashion, but not really. What Drewski did was not deadpan minstrelsy, where it's like, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? No, he took literally what Erica Kirk was saying and said it. And it's to point out the absurdity of what it's like for black folks to experience being parodied themselves. See, but the parody that we experience, right? The dehumanization that we experience is not actually who we are. So when they did we're unintelligent, we're lazy, we're shiftless, it was a caricature. Now you have this absurdity. It's like, yeah, I'm in whiteface, but this is not necessarily a caricature because I'm saying and doing the things that Erica Kirk has done and said.
Yeah, almost like 1-to-1.
Yeah, almost 1-to-1. 98% accuracy, And so to see the anger about it just lets me know that people don't know shit about how any of this works ever. And I say that a lot, and I worry that it's losing its punch and its severity, but I mean it. People who get angry about not being able to do blackface or the idea that black people deserve to be centered in any kind of way, they just don't know. They either don't know how this shit works at all, or they know how the shit works and they are actively being mean and evil. You know what I mean? It's like, here's my chance. Yes, now I get to do blackface. Also, people saying that, now it's time to do blackface, or God, if we did blackface, everybody would be upset. Where's my camera? You've already done blackface. You've been doing blackface.
I also, well, they've been doing blackface, but also the people who are now complaining haven't educated themselves about it. Like, it's interesting what motivates somebody to read and educate themselves about a thing. Like, if it's something that affects them, they kind of want to know the history of this and the history of that. And in some cases, as soon as they find information they don't like, they just act like it's not there. We see it with people talking about like vaccines and shit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to how these patterns affect whole populations, I don't think people really take the time to understand or take the time to educate themselves about like even what happened and how stuff came about and how it was implemented and what the purpose of it is, to then say, oh, you know what? This must be what, like, I get an idea, even like a slight idea of what that must feel like to have your identity be that. I'm going to give you this little bit and you can keep it or cut it.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I used to have this VHS tape, and there's a cartoon that it was a series of like Looney Tunes cartoons. And one of these shorts was, I'm not going to say these were two indigenous people because there's no way that they were indigenous people. They were caricatures of what white people think in, eye slurs look like. And so there's two of them with a headdress walking down a path. And the whole dialogue of this scene is, we'll just say person A, person B. How, 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 don't change the subject.
Yeah. You've told me that before. Told me about that joke before.
That's, somebody wrote this down. They showed it to somebody else who said, yeah, that's it. They gave it to the cartoonist and he looked at it and was like,
this is it. Cut, print.
I think I could do this. And this is an old black and white Jones. So
yeah,
this is when they don't have computers. So they got to do each cell individually. 15 to 30 of these per second.
Yeah.
And so I'm drawing this caricature over and over and over again in different positions. Yeah. And then you go to the camera guy and you say, this is the scene. Yeah, I can capture that. Bop, flip. Yeah. To the cell work. Then you need the voice. Right. So you got to get two people
involved, yeah, to do some voiceover.
Hey, we got dialogue for you to read. What's the dialogue? How? And I can imagine that one person in the room was like, that's funny. That's a good scene.
And I'm trying to figure out what the joke is.
So now we've done that. Yeah. We've recorded it. We printed it. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I'm not indicting the people from there. I'm drawing this out for a reason. For them, they have no idea that they're just buying into a system that is designed to make it fun, to dehumanize a whole demographic. So they do that. And then the marketing makes it fun for white people to see, especially children. Oh, this is funny. But they also market it to indigenous communities that have assimilated. So they might have kids that watch that. Because there are, like, let's be honest, there was black people watching Dumbo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so they they then take your dehumanization and feed it to you.
I'll do you one better. As a child, I didn't have the faculties necessary to pick up on the fact that I be done seen about everything when I seen an elephant fly. I didn't have the faculties to pick up and just like, oh, that's supposed to be me. I didn't even. I'm looking at that and saying, anytime I see something that resembles that, I'm gonna silly.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring all that up is to say the person today that now has the tools to analyze that, they don't even, they're just like, what's the big deal?
What's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, what's the issue?
Stop being a snowflake. You're too soft. Yeah. But then it shapes the way that people go on to make policy, to operate in their leadership. What's tolerable, what's not tolerable, what's seen as professional, what's seen as unprofessional, to see what's right. When we talk about here, real quick, I want to pull something up real quick here.
While you're pulling that up, let me tell you this math. I was born in 1980. I'm watching this VHS when I'm like 6 or 7 years old. That means potentially, like when we're talking to these younger people, the child of someone who watched that cartoon is the same person that will come up to us and tell us that indigenous communities and the tribes on the African continent didn't have language.
Yeah. They're the same ones. They didn't have math or written language. Remember that one?
Yeah. Because what's being presented? How? Like the whole conversation. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then it's grown to be seen as socially deviant. So let's read along with the class real quick. Social deviance is the violation of cultural norms, rules, or expectations within a society. So if a society sees Blackness itself as comedic, that means it's a space to operate. It's only meant to operate in the space of comedy. In other atmospheres where the norm or the expectations are whiteness, then Blackness is automatically seen as deviant, because you're not supposed to do that here. A great example, when I was in the Army, you couldn't do no black shit in the Army. Are you kidding me? You had to have on the whitest shoes you could find. Don't buy no, don't listen, you had to have Asics. If you had the Nikes, they had to be a specific type of Nike. You better not be wearing no cool shoes, all right, in uniform. That's in your PT uniform. Don't wear no cool shit. You're going to get cursed out. Socks got to be up to your calves. When we finally got to our unit, they started letting us wear ankle socks. I was like, oh shit, we're so close. If I could wear these no-show socks, we're so fucking close. I got reprimanded one time for wearing my basketball shoes after having played basketball into the defect. So I playing basketball, put on basketball shoes, went into the defect to get a meal after having played basketball, and got cursed out for wearing basketball shoes in uniform. Not just cursed out, I was told I was a disgrace to his military, a disgrace to his army.
Basketball shoes on.
Basketball shoes. Not even Jordans. Just basketball shoes with ankle support. You dig what I'm saying? But he perceived it. He perceives Blackness. Basketball is a black sport. He perceives basketball shoes as black shoes. You know, them blacks are wasting all their money on Jordans. Here's the biggest thing for me. And we're going to close out by doing a little bit of comparative analysis here. Can we just do a comparison here and show just kind of like, all right, I'm going to show you. I want to see if you spot this. Okay. This is blackface. This is how they do blackface. Okay. This is how we do whiteface. We got like a purple smoky eye. You understand? Mm-hmm. We got the lashes. The eyebrows are on point. You dig what I'm saying? The wig is that you can't. Real quick, Jeff, find the lace on this picture.
No,
you can't find the lace.
Can't do it.
It's not there.
Matter of fact, and look, I'm horrible at this. My wife is dope at this. Like, she could be walking past the TV and out of the peripheral, she'd be like, that person wearing a wig. She could spot him from anywhere. But I know that
situation where we know Drewski's wearing a wig.
Yeah. And I know that part.
Find the lace.
Ooh, that part. That's the giveaway.
Center part. Yeah, the middle part is where you can see it.
Yeah. But I'm saying typically you don't have a part because it's easy to see. This is that's dedication.
I'm gonna go back. Shit. No. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Look, there's a.
What is this?
Okay, so check it out. Like, you see my beard? My barber will tell me, like, when I say, yo, leave this, because I got to go there soon. When I say leave this, and then just do the rest, and I'm going to make it easy for you, he cusses me out. He's like, your hair is hard to cut. But he been cutting my hair for almost 20 years. Like, that's my dude.
Right.
But he understands the intricacies of 4C hair. And if I were to say, do what Drewski did, I would have to understand the differences with, like you said, smoky eye, the palette that you can use on fairer skin versus black. Bring up that blackface picture again.
All right, for sure. Hold on, I panned away from it. I might have to go back.
All right.
There you go.
Tell me you have never seen a woman with that color skin, like wearing perfect makeup.
Of course I have.
Of course. That means that woman understands what her skin is.
Yeah.
To put makeup on it.
Mm-hmm.
This person just said, ooh, I'm going to put the skin on and then just slop, and it is slop anything on top of it. Who cares?
Yeah. She looks unkempt.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like a white woman doing blackface. You know what I mean?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. And then what I want to give you is this one here. Again, you see the quality. Now, granted, they had different budgets. You know what I'm saying? Drewski's trolling. I don't know the white girl's name, but she was trolling. But Drewski put some thought into that shit. Drewski's white woman looks way better than her black woman. But that's the point. The point isn't to put care into it, because the goal isn't to represent black people in a good light. There's not thought, there's not care about it, there's not honesty in there. It's just, let me push the idea that black people are ugly and stupid and uncivilized.
But here's the thing, though, with white girls, it's a movie. It's a Wayans movie at that.
Yeah, it's a Wayans movie.
So they could have easily been like, hey, we'll just make it Sean and Marlon as white women. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
They went with prosthetics and practical stuff, and like, hey, you could tell something's a little off because it's still
Sean and Marlon
at the end of it's still them at the end of the day. It's not just like, hey, here's paint over my beard and mustache, because in the script they would have been like, oh yeah, you made it at least something.
Well, and that's something that's another episode we gotta do. We gotta talk about the difference between conservative comedy and left of center comedy, because conservatives don't live in the same reality that the rest of us live in. In fact, I think what the problem is there is, the joke is, haha, black people. That's just the joke. There's no this thing is absurd. There's no calling out of the inconsistency there. There's just or there's no subversion of expectations. It's just, hey, look, trans people exist. Don't you think that's funny? That's it. Oh, hey, look, black people. That's the whole joke. Yeah. And I'm just too smart for that shit. Like, I think we're all just too smart to find that funny.
I do want to do that, and it actually gives me an idea for the new Jeff Makes It Make Sense, because I'm separating out topics I want to hit, and I didn't even touch on comedy.
Yeah.
And comedy theory is a thing.
Yeah, of course.
And conservatives don't understand it.
You want to do it on yours?
No, we have to do the conservative versus lib comedy. I'm just talking about breaking down comedy.
That's what I'm saying. Do you want to record that on yours?
We'll talk about it when
all right, for sure.
I have to extract all the topics.
Stay tuned. We might do address conservative comedy. In the meantime, y'all, we're gonna wrap this up, man. This was a quick little cursory explanation or conversation about some short form fucking content about why whiteface is actually okay and blackface is not okay. One is a historic dehumanization. One is minstrelsy, which is tied to which is the dehumanization of people, the normalization of the dehumanization of black people. And the other one is a critique on that. The other one is a parody of that. So
one is an attempt to make black people into animals.
Yeah.
And the other one gets millions of likes on social media and gifted subs.
83 some odd million, bro.
And all of that, you know. One of them extracts the labor and the blood and the sweat and the tears of a whole demographic. And the other one is a creative sketch with pyrotechnics and a budget and increases your thoughts of conspiracy theories. And did she actually have a hand in? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's not the same.
It's not the same thing.
Not
At
the
all.
same thing.
They're
They
not the same
operate
at all.
in two different ways.
At all. All right, y'all. All power to all the people except for Ralph. Do something good for your neighbor. Ubuntu, viva la raza, throw more bricks.